Bode, and come here to share my testimony of my healing of rheumatoid arthritis I had years ago. I think it was 19 something, I forgot the year. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I attended a convention of some type of my sister's church in New Orleans, Firehouse Full Gospel Church. And I was sitting up there, and all the pastors and had like a sheet and stood on each line, prayer warriors, and you go down and you walk through it, and you went back, and I sat back down, and all of a sudden, because they prayed over you as you're going through, and all of a sudden I sat back down, and all of a sudden this electricity feeling went from the bottom of my feet all the way up to my head and back down, and I was completely out of pain. I was in pain before I went through that, but and I was healed by Jesus, thank God. I grew in fear. Fear was my worst that I felt all the time because of my father was an alcoholic and verbal abused all the time, so I feared him. But then when I was sent to school, that first day of school, I was 6 years old, I was talking in class, and this teacher was nuts, I guess, because she just left me there and left the classroom at the end of the day, and I was there in the corner of the room crying, and don't know how long it took for my mother to realize that, I wasn't home. I'm looking for me, and when I had to go back the first day of the second grade, I wouldn't go. She had this neighbor kid drag me all the way there to the school. She couldn't realize I was traumatized, but she didn't know any better, I guess, at the time. But I got through all of that. Now, of course, I grew up in fear, not talking to anybody, and I built this shell. I was in a shell for 30 years before I got the help I needed. And I had to have surgery on my back. The disc had to be removed. I found a chiropractor in the phone book because I was afraid of men and women. Couldn't talk. I wouldn't look anybody in the eye like I'm doing today and talking. So I went to the chiropractor, and I wouldn't talk. I just, I'd write everything down and hand them to it, I would explain the pain, but nothing personal, nothing. And I wasn't going to be able to attend much anymore for the adjustments, and so I had my sister Carol talk to her until I couldn't afford it. And she had me come in anyway and owe it. And that's when she started, she needed my help, and I wrote down all the abuse, and stuff, verbal abuse. And she had me stand up and hug me and put my arms around me and told me it's okay to hug. Because we were never taught hugging and told we were loved us all our lives, none of us. But we knew we were in a way because they provided for us, but verbally never said the words. I started therapy at the mental health clinic. The chiropractor got me help there for 5 years. Even got to go back and got my GED. Graduated, just barely made it because I still thought I was stupid and dumb, and they just passed me anyway. So I had to find an eating disorder therapist, and that was hard because I wouldn't trust people, still. So I found this lady in a paper, offered it for free, right there in Metairie. So a friend of mine, Kathy, went with me, and I didn't talk, I just sat and listened, Went home, and God started giving me the poems then, and with this eating disorder therapist. The first one was disease, that I had a disease. Another one, he said, I got 2 little girls inside me, one positive, one negative, And that one on talking even, it's a figure of speech, It's hard to trust people, But anyway, and then the one in the Overeaters Anonymous, they got me to join. It was a napkin just laying on the table, a blank napkin, and he'd give me the words. Life is an open book, write the pain so it'll go away and all. Just unreal poems. And then when I was dying, the devil had me say, take my poems and go jump off a bridge and commit suicide. And I never, of course, but thank God I never, But the poems kept coming like that to help me recover. Then all of a sudden he started giving me, once I got into the learning about Jesus and more with the Bible and really a higher power they called it, but it was really God all the time building me up. So, and then he started giving me spiritual ones, more spiritual ones to reach out to others. In Overeaters Anonymous, I had to write everything down, and they take you with a sponsor, and you burn He wouldn't burn at first. I said, that's my daddy stopping it from burning. But you burn it up and all of that. But you end up giving it, thanking God and giving it all away and just letting go and forgiving them because they were sick. They didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. I went back to Delgado and graduated at 50 years old with honors, social and county degree. I am not stupid and dumb like I was called. Now, I had to go through rehabilitation, WISE program at first. I only had 7th grade level, but I did it. I did it 50 years old. Trust in the Lord. He's your answer to everything. He gets you out of everything.